Hey guys, it's Alex from 7th Hour Films, back again with Death Note. Last time on Death Note, we had Wager, where a bunch of things happen. Suffice to say, L arrested Misa on suspicion of being the second Kira, held her up in a Hannibal Lecter style of containment, and held her there for 3 days. And things were going so out of control, and Misa was eventually like, Rem, just kill me. I hate this. This is horrible. And Rem gave her a different out, which would be that she would forfeit the Death Note, and it would mean that Misa would lose all memory of the Death Note, of Ryuk, of Rem, and of Kira. However, apparently she will still have her feelings for Light. That's still a thing. And she accepted it, and this all came with a condition that Light has to save Misa. And when Rem told him that, he was like, okay, I have a plan. Ryuk, this is goodbye. So, we're gonna have to figure out what the hell that means. Yeah. This is where I say no spoilers in the comments whatsoever. This is also where I say that if you want to watch my reaction to this episode of Death Note, unfortunately, the reaction cannot be hosted in this YouTube video due to copyright issues that I've had in the past. So, if you want to go watch my highlight reaction with the footage in the corner and it's all nice and edited and good, you can head down in the description of this video or to the pinned comment on the video, and there will be a link there. It should say, like, DN16, I had to remember what episode we're on, DN16 reaction highlight, and then have a link. You click on that link, you go, you watch it, you hopefully have a good time, and when you're done with that, you can come back here to this YouTube video for the discussion, which is always an important factor. And obviously, if you want to go a little bit further than just watching the highlight reaction, you can head over to my Patreon. Once again, link is in the description. You can head over to my Patreon and watch my full unedited reaction. So, yeah, with that being said, we might as well get right into this episode of Death Note. Here we go. Okay. I gotta figure this out. I gotta piece this together in my head now. Okay. So when you relinquish the Death Note, you lose all memory of the Death Note itself, the people you murdered, and the Shinigami that came with the Death Note. Okay. Okay, so Light actually did relinquish his Death Note. Light actually did relinquish his Death Note. He is no longer Kira. And so he won't be able to see Ryuk anymore. But the killing started again. All the killing started again. And now both Misa and Light, they're back to the way they were before. You know? And this is pretty much all just to get L off the... I guess just to get them cleared. Just to get the two of them cleared. But to do so, it was a drastic measure. But the killing started again. That's the part that confuses me. You know, it's possible that... It's possible that Light waited, basically. Like, he planned this, because he said, if he was ever contained, killings would keep happening. but he waited and then started the innocent train, basically. He lost his memory, and then days later, the killings resumed. So that convinced Masuda and Aizawa that he wasn't Kira, and it convinces Chief Yagami, but that just does not convince L. It can't convince L, honestly. It cannot convince L. But I think that is part of Light's plan. The problem is, I don't know what the rest of his plan is. Because Ryuk, it can't be that Ryuk was doing this. That Ryuk resumed the killings as Kira. He wouldn't do that. And now that he has relinquished the Death Note, Ryuk is not going to... He's not going to come back. He's not going to give him the Death Note again. Because Ryuk wouldn't... He wouldn't do that. He has no involvement in this. This all needs to be Light. Unless it's Rem. Unless Rem does it. But he has completely erased his memory by forfeiting the Death Note. God, we're only like halfway through. And he's relinquished the Death Note. I don't know, man. This one's a little tricky. I guess honestly, even though Light is technically the main character, the audience is kind of with L. Like, we're all trying to piece this together. The only difference is we have knowledge of the Death Note where L doesn't. And even I don't... I'm a little lost on this one, guys. And I don't know if I should be lost or, maybe I'm missing something that's really obvious. But I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what Light's objective is here. Well, other than to free... Honestly, this has all been a plan to save Misa. This has all been a plan to save Misa. And she does remember him. She does remember Light. She says, like, yeah, of course I remember my boyfriend. So, you have to assume that he would remember her too. Maybe they'll have a loving relationship now. I don't know. But that's the problem, is that he has to get the Death Note back. I mean, the show has to keep going. Kira has to keep going in this show. This cannot be it. But how... What is his plan? What is he trying to do here? I don't know. I don't know what his plan is here. So, I wrote down, he buried the Death Note at first. So instead of just keeping it in his room, even in the trap he laid, basically, he decided to bury the Death Note. But it was still his Death Note for a while. And he gave Ryuk, the specific order, like, if I ever say, get rid of it, no matter what the context, assume that I am relinquishing the Death Note. And Ryuk understood. So, first off, he relinquished Misa's Death Note back to Rem. But because he still had his Death Note, he didn't forget anything, which was interesting. So yeah, so we lost Rem. Rem's out of there. And then now we have, he buried the Death Note with the plan of erasing his memory. Basically, I guess to prove innocence. I just don't know how well that's going to work on L. He's just too suspicious of it. Even if the evidence does start to stack up for Light, he's still too suspicious. Let's be honest. He was at 100% on Light being Kira at the beginning of this episode. And he did say afterwards, he's like, well, it's a little gray now. Once the killing started resuming, he was like, it's a little gray now. But he's not convinced. He's not convinced about this. We had the initial effects of erasing the Death Note from your memory with Misa. How, unfortunately, she just immediately, like she lost her memory, and then the first thing she noticed was, she was chained up in a straitjacket with a blindfold on, and she was like, oh, you must be a stalker. Like, she said this kind of like this was just a thing she does, like every Tuesday she does this, like, oh, Mr. Stalker, come on, don't do this. It's like, well, you've certainly gotten farther than any stalker I've ever had. It's like, what the hell? What the heck, girl? What the heck? This isn't right. It's like, is this just a thing that happens to you? Is this just a Tuesday for you? What the heck? So that was honestly like a little, like, it took me aback a sec. Took me aback a sec. I don't know if those are words technically. But yeah, I stepped back for a second. I was like, is this just a thing that happens to you? You just assume that a stalker got to you. And she was kind of calm about it. Kind of calm. It wasn't like just fully like, oh yeah, this is happening. But it was definitely an interesting response to that. And, that being so odd to L and the rest of the task force. Oh man, this is insane. I wrote down could be. So Light was going with an angle of perhaps he could be Kira, but he doesn't know it. Perhaps it happens while he sleeps, while he's unconscious. He is subconsciously Kira. That's a hard sell. That is a very hard sell, especially to L. This whole thing is basically a hard sell to convince L that any of this is real, So yeah, could be. He could be Kira. Which bothers the shit out of the chief, unfortunately. And then they arrested Light, got another camera, put him in a cell. Now, he was still chained. Like, he still had the cuffs on, and I think he had cuffs around... He might have had cuffs around his ankles, too. Like, can't you just leave him? Like, let him walk around? Well, I mean, I guess even that is a little better than Misa, who's just chained... Like, she was chained to a freaking... Just a thing, and then at least she was chained to a chair afterwards. She was just strapped to a chair. So I guess he has it a bit better than Misa does. And then the chief, he's just sitting in a chair the whole time. It's like, dude, you have a bed. But that's the other thing, is that they did confine Chief Yagami because he wasn't sure what he was going to do, If not, Light was convicted as Kira, But with more and more going towards it was starting to get to him. Them even saying, like, if they do prove that he is Kira, it's like, the chief might kill him. Like, that was a little crazy, too. Just saying, it's like, the chief may actually kill Light. L said, you might kill him and then kill yourself, Ugh. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. So, poor Chief Yagami. Just going through hell all because his son is a suspect as Kira. Like, if he ever actually learns that Light is Kira, it's going to destroy him. Well, and then Light's going to kill him, That's the unfortunate part about it. It's a lot, man. And then Light relinquished his Death Note. He got rid of it. He gave away his Death Note. And Ryuk's just out of there. He's like, all right, later. Now, I don't know if... I guess you could kind of ask, like, okay, with Ryuk saying later, it's like, does that mean he's going to come back? Or is that just how Ryuk leaves? Like, all right, well, bye. I don't know. This is it. But this is interesting. But he definitely, like... And it's interesting, like, you know, once he lost his memory of being Kira, like, he did sort of change. Like the way they drew him, the way he was drawn was actually a little different, which I like the detail of that. That they sort of draw him, they kind of draw him to be a bit younger, you know? He's a bit younger, he's a bit more wide-eyed. Like, honestly, they draw him to be more innocent. It's actually kind of interesting. But yeah, Light gave up his Death Note. Light gave up his Death Note and all memory of it, Ryuk, and being Kira. And so now, Misa doesn't remember being Kira. Light doesn't remember being Kira. And now it's all on L. You know, the killings have resumed even though Light has been right there. Now it is all on L. What is his next move? Because he needs to be careful about what he does next. Because if they are innocent of being Kira, this could completely backfire. Basically, everything is being stacked against L now. So it's all about what is his next move. So technically, you know, we kind of do this every episode. What is the question going into next episode? The question we have two questions, I feel like. What is L's next move with this Kira situation? And the second question is, what exactly is Light's plan? How will he become Kira again? That is what we must know. We must find out. We must find out what Light's plan is and what is L's next move. Those are our questions going into next episode, and I am very, very curious as to where we're going in the next episode because, whoo boy, this is a little crazy, man. A little crazy, but I love it. It's so much fun, and I'm extremely curious as to where we are going next time. Oh, excuse me. So, with that all being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my Death Note reactions, you can click on the playlist, you can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure you hit that notification bell. You can support me on Patreon and follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.